encores can be made. Maybe the last encore is a signal that we're fed up now. We don't, we don't want it anymore.
Right.
Yes, I understand. I think I'm following you.
So, thought gives nourishment, sustains it, and gives it a direction to pleasure. Mm-hmm. There was no pleasure at the moment of perception of that tree, the hill, the shadows, the deer, the water, the meadow. The whole thing was astonishing. That was real, non-verbal, non-romantic and so on, perception. Mm-hmm. It has nothing to do with me or you, or it was there. Then thought comes from and says, memory of it, the continuing that memory tomorrow, and the demand for that, and the pursuit of that. And when I come back to it tomorrow, it's not the same. I feel a little bit shocked, a little bit, I said, that's it. I was inspired, now I must find means of getting again inspired. Therefore I take a drink, women, this or that. You follow again?
Oh, yes. Do you think in the history of culture the establishment of festivals would be related to what you're saying?
Of course. It's the whole thing, sir.
We live for... Well, in English we have this saying, to live it up. The rest of the time we're living it down.
Down, yes.
But there are...
Mardi Gras, the whole...
Yes, right.
The whole business of it. So there it is. I see that. See what happens, sir? Pleasure is sustained by thought. Mm-hmm. Sexual pleasure. The image, the thinking over it, all that, and the repetition of it, and the pleasure of it, and go on, keep on, routine. Now, what a relationship, what is the place of pleasure or relationship to the delight of the moment? Not even a delight, it's something inexpressible. So is there any relationship between pleasure and enjoyment? Enjoyment becomes pleasure when thought says, I have enjoyed it, I must have more of it.
Mm-hmm. It's actually a falling out of joy.
Yeah, that's it. You see, sir? So pleasure has no relationship to ecstasy, to delight, to enjoyment, or to joy and happiness. Because pleasure is the movement of thought in direction. It doesn't matter what direction, but in a direction. The others have no direction.
Mm-hmm.
Pleasure and enjoyment, you enjoy. Joy is something you cannot invite. Happiness you cannot invite. It happens and you don't know if you're happy at that moment. It's only the next moment you say, how marvelous that was. So, see what takes place. Can the mind, the brain, register the beauty of that hill and the tree and the water and the meadows and end it?
Mm-hmm.
Not say, I want it again.
Yes, this would take us back to that, what you've just said now would take us back to that word negation that we spoke of before, because there has to be a moment when we're about to fall out. We're about to fall out. And And what you're saying is the moment that about to fall out appears, something must be done.
Yes, yes, you will see it in a minute, sir. You see what extraordinary thing takes place. I see pleasure, enjoyment, joy and happiness. See pleasure as not related to any of that, the other two, joy and enjoyment. So thought gives direction and sustains pleasure. Right. Now, I ask, my mind asks, can there be non-interference of thought?
Yes.
Non-interference of thought in pleasure. I enjoy. Why should thought come into it at all?
There's no reason at all.
But it does.
It does. It does. It does.
Therefore, now the question arises, how is the mind, the brain, to stop thought entering into that enjoyment?
Yes.
Not to interfere. Therefore, they said, the ancients and the religious people, control thought. You follow? Don't let it creep in. Therefore, control it.
The minute it raises its ugly head, whack it off.
Right off.
It's like a hydra. Then
it keeps on growing.
Yes.
Now, is it possible to enjoy, to take a delight in that lovely scene, and not thought creep in? Is this possible? I'll show it is possible, completely possible, if you are attentive at that moment, completely attentive. You follow, sir?
Which has nothing to do with screwing oneself up with muscular effort to focus in there.
Just be wholly there. When you see the sunset, see it completely. When you see a beautiful line of a car, see it. And don't let this thought begin. That means at that moment be supremely attentive, completely. With your mind, with your body, with your nerves, with your eyes, ears, everything attentive. Then thought doesn't come to you at all. So, pleasure is related to thought. And thought is, in itself, brings about fragmentation. Pleasure and not pleasure. Therefore, now after having pleasure, I must pursue pleasure.
It makes a judgment.
Judgment.
A judgment.
Judgment. And the feeling of frustration, anger, violence, you follow, all that come into when there's the denial of pleasure. Which is what the religious people have done. They are very violent people. Because they have said no pleasure.
The irony of this is overwhelming. In classical thought, you have that marvelous monument, the works of St. Thomas Aquinas, who never tired of saying, in his examination of thought, and the recognition of the judgment, that one must distinguish in order to unite. And his motive was very different from what seems to have been read, because we've managed to distinguish, but we never see the thing whole and get to the uniting.